Society is produced by our wants, and government by our wickedness. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. It is error only, and not truth, that shrinks from inquiry. The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Independence is my happiness, and I view things as they are, without regard to place or person. My country is the world, and my religion is to do good. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered, yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. The greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. Character is much easier kept hid than recovered. He that would make his own liberty secure must guard even his enemy for oppression, for if he violates this duty, he establishes a precedent that will reach to himself. When we are planning for posterity, we ought to remember that virtue is not hereditary. It is not a field of a few acres of ground, but a cause that we are defending, and whether we defeat the enemy in one battle or by degrees, the consequences will be the same. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. We fight not to enslave, but to set a country free, and to make room upon the earth for honest men to live in. When men yield up the privilege of thinking, the last shadow of liberty quits the horizon. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. I prefer peace, but if trouble must come, let it come in my time, so that my children can live in peace. It is not in numbers, but in unity, that our great strength lies. The sun never shined on a cause of greater worth. It is error only, and not truth, that shrinks from inquiry. The duty of a patriot is to protect his country from its government. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. It is from our enemies that we often gain excellent maxims and are frequently surprised into reason by their mistakes. When we long for life without difficulties, remind us that oaks grow strong in contrary winds, and diamonds are made under pressure. The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. The greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. The sublime and the ridiculous are often so nearly related that it is difficult to class them separately. A thing moderately good is not so good as it ought to be. Moderation in temper is always a virtue, but moderation in principle is always a vice. Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil, in its worst state, an intolerable one. A body of men holding themselves accountable to nobody ought not to be trusted by anybody. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. We can only reason from what is. We can reason on actualities, but not on possibilities. Man is not the enemy of man, but through the medium of a false system of government. The mind, once enlightened, cannot again become dark. He who dares not offend cannot be honest. Such is the irresistible nature of truth that all it asks and all it wants is the liberty of appearing. But Britain is the parent country, say some. Then the more shame upon her conduct. Even brutes do not devour their young, nor savages make war upon their families. Common sense will tell us that the power which hath endeavored to subdue us is of all others the most improper to defend us. Securing freedom and property to all men, and above all things, the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience. Whatever is my right as a man is also the right of another, and it becomes my duty to guarantee as well as to possess. Let them call me a rebel, and welcome. I feel no concern from it, but should I suffer the misery of devils were I to make a whore of my soul? Persecution is not an original feature in any religion, but it is always the strongly marked feature of all religions established by law. If I do not believe as you believe, it proves that you do not believe as I believe, and that is all that it proves. The Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, in which they put a man called Christ in the place of the sun, and pay him the adoration originally paid to the sun. One of the strongest natural proofs of the folly of hereditary right in kings is that nature disapproves it, otherwise she would not so frequently turn it into ridicule by giving mankind an ass for a lion.